Bitcoin scores big off this news, and it is news that we've been talking about for weeks now. We're going against the grain, and now it's starting to look likely. There's a 48,000 Bitcoin in the cards before the end of the year. I think it's time to discover crypto.
Capital flight is coming to the United States. The dollar is going to zero.
And that's what makes Bitcoin so special.
You have to have gone through a couple cycles to understand.
Once the price is able to clear this level, the breakout is on its way.
This is your indication to jump in now.
All right, we got a special guest, Kelly, with us today. Normally you're calling in. Now you're back at the desk. It's been a few days. How's it feel?
Feels good. It's always good to be here with the Discover Crypto fam. Shout out to all the BitLabbers there in the chat. I see the lab coats. You know, markets are moving. We got some good news yesterday. I know we're going to be talking about it. Does it mean we're going straight to 48K? I have some water I may want to throw on that, but I'm feeling good. I'm looking forward to digging into these stories.
Speaking of feeling good, I'm actually in a trade right now. I opened something this morning. I don't know if I'm going to be feeling good or feeling bad. Oh, I'm have to log in. So give me a few. I'll check on that later on in the stream. Oh, now there's suspense. Now I don't know if I'm going to be up or down, but what is the key reason we're seeing this Bitcoin price surge? And what do you mean, like you guys were talking about it ahead of time, talking about the Q1 rate cut? Previously, the Q1 rate cut, meaning, you know, the first 3 months of 2024, are we going to see the Fed reduce rates, meaning cheaper for a home mortgage, cheaper for a car loan? It's very, very unpopular opinion that it was going to happen in Q1. No, they're going to kick the can further down the road. Started hearing some rumblings from some very smart people. We're going against the grain. I'm talking about Bill Ackman, talking about Polly Hapatia. They were saying it's looking more and more likely. I said, I'm going ahead and I'm flipping. I'm flipping to Q1 rate cuts. And now that's exactly what we're seeing. The predictive markets are now above 50%. Now 60% of people are expecting one by March, the third month of the year. What does that mean for the layman watching at home? You know, rate cuts Q1. Why is that better than rate cuts Q2?
Well, rate cuts has everything to do with, do you want money to be expensive or inexpensive? When money is expensive, AKA the rate hikes are going up, there's still a lot of interest on money. You'll see the dollar, the DXY, the Dixie performing very well. And when we've seen over a period of decades, if not a century, that when the DXY, when the dollar is performing very well, risk markets tend to pull back a little bit, or at least not have the same amount of power in them to buoy them higher. Now, if we get rate cuts, that effectively makes money less expensive. So even if you think it does not affect you, if you really look and you pay attention to your budgeting, you pay attention to your credit card bills, you may notice that some of those different loans that you're paying, some of those different interest rates, there's that additional amount that's increased on that because that Fed fund rate is higher. That's the base rate all other interest rates are based off of. And so you got to know that. So we want to see rate cuts. If it happens earlier in Q1, then I think that's going to actually, absolutely let the markets fly. And I have some charts we're going to be breaking down here in a few minutes showing NASDAQ already breaking new all-time highs in the futures market. Dow Jones also pushing up. Bitcoin coming up on one of the most explosive times in history, historically, having with all this on the sidelines with institutions and what do you call it? The Bitcoin spot ETF. So these rate hikes mean everything to forward-looking investors. And that's why yesterday's announcement that there's no foreseeable rate hikes to continue, at least at the time being, effectively you saw the DXY completely nuke and go to the downside and other markets started pushing up. But is this a bull trap?
Well, speaking of nuke, we'll look at the bull trap scenario pretty soon. Speaking of nuke, let's pull up my chart real quick. There's a little bit of a nuke in a price action with, you can see it, Cardano right here, cooling off tremendously. I know I'm zoomed in on the 5 minute. I got my entry right around here. I think it's... yeah, I went long. I didn't catch the bottom. That would have been nice to catch the bottom, but I jumped in early enough. I'm longing Cardano. What am I up? Am I up one sandwich, two sandwiches?
And a bag of chips?
I am up about two sandwiches, folks. We're up about $20. Woo! $20 right there.
The question
it's a winning trade. I'm taking it.
Is this a $5 foot long, or is this an actual gourmet?
I heard they're not even $5 anymore. I heard it's like $13.99 when you get a sandwich. But let's talk about the key reason behind Bitcoin surge right here. So it reached pretty high mark over the past 24 hours. If we just refresh on CoinGecko here, it was at one point up 5%. Now it's kind of cooling off a little bit. But what is the reason? Well, the rally is attributed to the Fed Reserve officials holding the rate steady predicting potential rate cuts in, they say mid-2024. Rate futures now indicate, this is the number I was talking about, 60% likelihood of a rate cut in March 2024. I expect this 60% to go to 70%, eventually 90%. I think we will see March rate cuts, and then it's going to be very attractive for risky assets like Bitcoin. I know. I called Bitcoin risky.
What's coming up in March? All those deadlines for all the spot ETFs is coming up. I think it's March 17th, just before the halving. So is a perfect storm brewing? Maybe, but that doesn't mean you throw the farm at it. You still got to hedge yourself.
Yeah, and we're seeing the yields on the 2 to 7 year securities have experienced a decline. So we're expecting, more. The markets are predicting a little bit of this is suggesting that they're predicting that the markets are going to go down with the rate cuts there. In tandem with the rise, spot gold has also seen an uptick. Last now it's been up about 0.7%. I would say gold, Bitcoin will perform about a 5x to gold here as far as movements. We saw Bitcoin at 5% pump today at one point. So even more so. What's Jay Powell have to say? Did you watch Jay Powell's remarks?
I wasn't able to yesterday, no, but I got the synopsis of it.
Shout out to Tom Crown. If you do ever want to catch those live streams, we highly recommend. Check out Tom Crown. He's just a cool dude. He's just a cool guy. I like Tom. He shares the insights into the Fed's interest rate strategy. This is him as an anonymous member. He's missing the guy Foxmax. Well, the announcement and the subsequent policy adjustment signal a notable change in the stance, hinting at a less aggressive trajectory for future interest rate hikes. And Kelly did a pretty good job explaining, so money will become more expensive, like you said. And so when money's expensive, you're a billionaire. Why would you do all this risky stuff? Money's expensive, so you're just going to say, hey, I'm going to give you $1 billion, and then at the end of the year, you're going to give me 70 million on top of the billion. Hey, that sounds pretty good. But when interest rates go low, I can't get 70 million back. I only get 30 million, 20 million. That's not enough for that billionaire. That's when that billionaire is going to start diversifying his wealth and looking into things like gold, like Bitcoin, like a BlackRock ETF. Maybe. All right, but we also have another Fed official we got to talk about. It's Kelly's favorite person. Janet Yellen, U.S. Treasury Secretary, on economic outlook. Inflation has come down. Real earnings are going up. This is kind of inaccurate. Inflation rate has come down. Inflation, things are still inflating. That gallon of milk, they say it costs about 3-4% higher. What do you think the real number is?
I mean, it's hard to say. All of us are doing our own market research every time we leave our house. I know that if I leave the house, and I don't mean just to come to work, but if I leave the house to do anything, I'm spending a minimum of $100.
Do you remember when you would leave the house and you would spend a $20 bill? Every time you left the house, every time I leave, man, I'm spending a 20. Drew, do you remember those days?
Yeah.
Oh man, I miss those days.
I miss those days. I miss those days where you would leave like, oh yeah, I'm going to burn a 20. Now it's like you said, you go out there, you burn a Benji.
And the truth is, and it's sad that our government does this, that they shouldn't operate like a business, even though the U.S. is not a country, it's a corporation. We should all be aware of that. And we can see it's evident in how the monetary policy is managed, because they are cherry picking certain facts from certain sectors and certain areas and cutting out different areas so that they can get a number that is most appropriate for them so they can do what they want to do.
Speaking of getting a number, are Kelly and Janet still a thing? Did you get her number?
You know what? Sometimes you just got to take out a notepad and learn from those old timers.
Wow.
We could go down this rabbit hole a long time. We're not going to do that. We're going to talk about crypto today, but maybe tomorrow. All right. Well, Yellen reflected on what she's saying. It looks like we're going to get a soft landing, everybody. So.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
With her age.
Okay. All right. We're reading between the lines with that one. All right. Well, let's see. The puns are on the tip of the tongue.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stop. All right. She emphasized that it's possible to bring down inflation without triggering high unemployment. She attributed inflationary pressures to, this is why we have inflation, disturbances in product markets due to the pandemic and supply chain issues.
My God.
You're still leaning on that old crap from 2020.
So tiring.
That's such old, like, oh yeah, well, that Suez Canal got blocked 7 years ago, so your milk's going to be expensive today. Let's talk about what's happening today. You're printing money into oblivion.
Yeah.
You're printing money into oblivion. So that, of course, is going to be the number one reason we're seeing inflated prices. They're just kind of cranking out more and more dollar bills every single day. Well, it's not just that, folks. It's also disruptions in the labor market. Okay, but now that the labor market is now stabilized with quit rates and job openings returning to normal levels, layoffs are remaining low. This stability suggests the economy's on a path to achieving our 2% objective. Why is it 2%? No real reason. Also addressing the perception of the economy. So addressing what you think. So now she's addressing your thoughts. Now she's going to, let's just say it, now she's policing what you're allowed to think. What does she have to say here? Well, she acknowledged that you might not feel great about the economic situation, but she cited, she cited a survey that showed an uptick in consumer confidence, with consumers beginning to understand that inflation is decreasing. The inflation rate is decreasing. Well, as you know that the wage growth has moderated, real earnings are growing up, which should gradually improve public sentiment. However, she did recognize that, things like rent remain a concern with many, with prices in some areas higher than pre-pandemic levels. What would you say after rent and housing? What's the number one concern for people's bills? Food.
Yeah, food.
So, once you take out those stupid things like food and rent, what do you have to worry about?
It's usually one of the largest components of people's spending too. I mean, the way my mom raised me is you should never spend more than 20, maybe 25% of your income on rent. But the reality is, especially in this day and age, the far majority of people end up spending anywhere from 30 to 50% of their income on rent. So how can you even make that statement? That's so tone deaf to the American public, to the general populace.
Yeah, but hey, you can still get that pack of Pokemon cards for $2.99. So you know what? That's fine. Look, I know your rent's up. All right, I know it's more expensive to even eat like things like cheap ground beef. But Pokemon cards are still cheap, everybody, so it's okay. Look, it's just rent and food. Don't worry about, look, you're just worrying too much. It's just rent and food that's going up a lot. Don't worry about the other things. So consumers, look, you're not feeling enough confidence in the economy. Come on, get with this. Just rent and food, everyone. All right, well, this is a pretty good chart right here from Kobisi Letter. Every time the Fed started cutting rates, I would emphasize started, not cutting. Once they start to cut rates dating back to 1950, unemployment rate has spiked. Historically speaking, the first cut comes 3 months before unemployment rates begins to spike, according to Reventure. On average, unemployment rates rise to about 7.5% in a Fed rate cut cycle. Meanwhile, the Fed say they don't see unemployment rate rising higher than 4.1%. That's just 0.4% above the current rate. History says a soft landing is unlikely. History is saying we're going to see a spike in unemployment. History is going to say they're going to continue to lie about the numbers. Drew, I know you look at a lot of this data when it comes to, I guess we call them seasonal workers, and how they measure those type of things.
Yeah.
What do you have? What's your tinfoil theory on what the Fed is going to do with unemployment rates? Are they just going to report honestly? Or is there maybe something else going to happen?
No, I mean, they've been cooking the books and lumping in people with 2 or 3 jobs. Those are additional, new incomes that they're counting into the jobs numbers. So that's how they've been.
That's a very key figure.
Yeah,
when you have a person that works 2 jobs,
exactly,
that changes the rate. So you have one fully employed person, but now that fully employed person is working 2 jobs, that shouldn't change unemployment rate, right?
Right.
Because it's still just one person. It does change the unemployment rate. So tell me how that metric works.
Yeah, it's and it's just beyond what Jenny Yellen is saying now. Like, she's also talking, we can comfortably afford a war on multiple fronts with China and Russia at the same time as well. It's just, they're so disconnected from reality. It's insane.
Back on my bullish, should I start eating Pokemon cards? It's cheaper. What's the best tasting Pokemon? Magikarp?
I mean, I wouldn't even know.
I wouldn't know.
I know I'm the age.
I
know I'm
wouldn't
the
eat
age
a
break.
Pokemon.
I never paid attention to it whatsoever. I know nothing about Pokemon.
That's good, I guess. That's good. You know what? That's weird because I don't want to say it's weird. It's interesting because you're about the right age to like Pokemon.
Yeah, and you're from Texas.
Yeah.
For a period of time, I grew up in Texas, and I maybe it just got there after. I don't know. It was never my thing.
All right. Well, who's disconnected from reality? I want to know who's disconnected from that like button. Go ahead, make the connection. Let's go ahead, smash that. Let's look at the markets real quick. Then we're going to talk about Ledger. There's a big Ledger drainer situation happening right now. But first, we have Bitcoin up about 1.1%. We have Ethereum up 2.3%. We are going to talk about JP Morgan's bold Ethereum and Bitcoin prediction that they have for 2024. Solana is pumping. It is up 5.5%. Cardano's up 0.5%. Let's see, Lido staked Ether, also, going to match ETH there. All right, what's a big mover, though? Let's get some exciting. Let's get some, screw it, something sexy here. Bonk. Bonk's just going nuts, man. Bonk is up 37%. It was kind of flat for about a week, and then just all in one day, all in a day. It basically just made an entire weekly candle print right there.
Well, there's speculation it's going to be listed on Coinbase, isn't there?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I think it was when the rumor happened, it actually dropped.
Yeah, it's on there.
Yeah, then I guess maybe retail took a while, or maybe like the big bonk whales were like, oh, that didn't work. Let's just market buy some. Let's see. Woo Network is up 30%. Helium is up about 30%. Injective and Ordi up about 20%. These are pretty good daily candles for top 100 coins.
Kujira.
Yeah, Kujira up 84% for the week. Injective,
Hey, shout out
80%.
Kujira. Nick, in the newsletter that I did 2 weeks ago, we had some picks in there sometimes on the BitLab newsletter, and that was the pick that he made. He said you got to keep an eye on Kujira.
Hey, everybody watched last night's video. Did you see that one pick, Benki? You know what I didn't even say? Benki is available to buy on Coinbase. Speaking of Coinbase, Benki is up 15%. So, hey, we're picking some winners. The problem was, I actually filmed it a couple days ago. If you look at the 7-day, God, I wish I could have got that to you sooner. I almost saw this pump. It was like, I don't even know if I want to get the video out. Then, hey, we felt pretty good. Let's get the video out. And then, hey, what did we end up getting? A 15% pump, everybody. So congrats on that. But now it's time for the scary part. All right, the bad part, the bearish part, the part where you wish this on your enemies. What's the biggest loser of the day? KuCoin shares. Oh, man. I haven't even thought about these coins being in my portfolio because, most of my coins are up. But yeah, KuCoin is way up. Bonk listed yesterday. I like it, but waiting for a pullback. I like that. Bonk's AMX up 500%. Bought some baby Bitcoin last night. Don't know baby Bitcoin. I don't know baby.
Get to know it.
Litecoin? Someone say that's Litecoin. BitTorrent is down 5%. Really, after that, it's somewhat neutral. Beam is starting to feel like my Caspa. Caspa is this thing I was waiting for. I think I wanted like 4.2 cents. I was saying 3.9, but I knew in my mind I was going to jump in at 4.2. I didn't. It played around 4.9 cents. It was under a nickel. I didn't buy. I was like, well, I want it lower. I want to get Caspa at 4 cents. Caspa's now 12 cents, everybody. If I just could have pulled that trigger. Actually, though, it went as high as, how high did it go? Yeah, it went as high as about 15 cents. So missed out on the entry point, and then it just started surging. Should I do that with that other altcoin, Kelly? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I was talking with Hannah about this on the pre-stream when we were streaming on Instagram before we started. You can have those areas that you want ultimately to buy, but don't be locked down on a specific exact only price that you dump all of that portion of your dry powder into, because it may not hit. This is one of those things we talk about in BitLab Academy as well. It's important to break up your entries. So find something a little bit more of a conservative entry that the price may still continue down below that. And that's okay, because you have another entry that's below that and you're averaging those two entries on the way down. And that way you're not missing opportunities just because you had such a good idea and the price goes within $1 of it and it doesn't hit. And then you feel like you completely missed the mark.
All right. Yeah. People seem to like Beam. I'm not sure if Beam could make it to 20 cents. Okay. All right. Crimson coming in with a cold dash of water there. Other people getting pretty bullish about Beam. All right. Let's talk about Ledger. Go the other. Let's get bearish now. Ledger just had an exploit, kind of. It's like this connector app that's within their ecosystem. So if you just have a regular wallet, you haven't touched it in 2 years, you don't need to worry. But wallet drainer code added to Ledger library has crypto on edge. It's a suspected supply chain attack on the Ledger Connect kit, and it may leave DApp users open to a loss of funds. Notices of what believed to be malicious code were shared on social media, found in software libraries for the Connect kit, which connects the dApps with Ledger devices. Revoke.cash, the service that allows crypto users to take back transaction signing powers previously given to Web3 apps, also took its front end offline to avoid users being duped. For now, users are advising to steer clear of front end apps for crypto platforms. Folks, the plot has thickened. They may have identified the hacker. Have you seen this yet?
You mentioned it to me, but we were sitting down here. I didn't get to look into it.
All right, so
break it down.
This is a breaking rumor, everybody. I'm not saying, let's not verify this as a certain fact here. This is from Oxcentury. Oxcentury, 0xcentury was the one who pointed this out. Seems like the hacker behind Ledger left behind a Gmail account. Hey, did you just leave behind your personal account? You're caught in 4K. You can see here, as published 2 hours ago by Junixi Sugirara, jpgmail.com. From that, was able to find the Twitter account. Hold on, it gets even better. What do you see right there, Kelly?
Oh, does that say X Ledger?
That is probably not a good sign. That is not what you want to see. Now, again, this is all breaking news. This could be, maybe a red herring, as they would say, on a pup named Scooby-Doo. But it looks like this seems like it passes the sniff test. I'm not sure. Again, it seems like this is quite plausible.
But it goes back to one of the things that this space is still a new space, and we need to protect ourselves. And just because you choose to have a cold wallet or a hardware wallet or a software wallet, it doesn't mean that you're truly protecting yourself. You got to be diligent about making sure you're splitting up your capital between multiple wallets and getting something, safe. Like, for instance, like Arculus. If you scroll to my screen here, down in the description, you can still get 20% off your Arculus wallet right here, because it doesn't have any of that hidden code that tracks what you're doing or backdoors. It's only your keys, only your crypto. And it's important to remember, you got to navigate the way you're custodying your crypto going to this next bull market, because it would nothing be worse than be stacking all bear market and have it all just drained out of your account because of poor diligence.
Yeah, Final Daylight actually has good advice there. Get paper wallets, everybody. If that's within your technical know-how, definitely. I mean, that's what Vitalik uses. That's my understanding. So, I mean, like one of the richest people in the world as far as, keeping funds on, some sort of on EVM. That's if it's good enough for him, it'd be good enough for me. All right. Well, we have a Zach XBT. He just reposted this, so I want to share. This is from Ledger. This might be, obviously, this is going to be biased to make Ledger look like the good guy here, but it looks like former Ledger employee fell victim to a phishing attack that gained access to their account. So maybe maybe he fell victim, everybody. He may have fell victim.
Maybe
to
he's the one
phishing.
that got drained.
Yeah, maybe the malicious codes used Rogue Wallet Connect project to reroute funds to a hacker wallet. The security teams were alerted, and a fix was deployed within 40 minutes of them becoming aware. Problem is, it happened kind of overnight, so how long did it take to become aware? Looks like there is now an updated version that's propagating. It is supposedly safe to use here. Ledger, along with our partners, have reported the bad actor's wallet address. It's now visible on Chainalysis, which works closely with the feds, and Tether, which works closely with the feds, has also frozen the bad actor's USDT. And everybody, just be real careful out there. So it looks like, wow, like a whole lot of news in 2 hours, and maybe we're coming close to a conclusion here already.
But over the past, I don't even know what the time frame is. What is it, 6 months or so, maybe 9 months? Ledger's been in the news several different times for, the ability, not the sanctions, but what do you call it when the government requests that the backdoors and they need the secret backdoor access. But there's been several different things. So again, it doesn't mean absolutely don't use Ledger, but make sure you're not using any particular wallet to hold all of your life savings on. Protect yourself, spread it across different types of wallet, cold storage and hardware storage. Please do not hold all of your crypto on an exchange address. That is not a wallet.
All right. Well, speaking of wallet, you know what people watch this channel for primarily, I would say? They want to make their wallet fatter. One of the best ways you can make their wallet fatter is knowing what's going on with the charts, maybe using some indicators. Maybe if only we had some expert that I need a copy trade. You need to tell me what trade you're about to open. Let us know. Kelly, let's dive into the BitLab charts. Let's dive into, let's mix some things in the beaker. Let's blow ourselves up. What do we got going on here?
Well, first things first, I mentioned this earlier on this post right here from Will Clemente. He posted this yesterday in the futures. Also, the NASDAQ was crossing all-time highs. And this is gonna parlay right into what we're talking about with Bitcoin. But remember, if this is really pumping up and we're seeing the DXY not performing well, then this may indicate that risk mentality is about to get very frothy. If you feel like the bullish frothiness has been there, that you've not seen anything yet. When you see this bull market truly ripping, it's going to just melt your face. So the question is, when is that going to happen? Well, from TXMC here, if you're not following this guy at TXMC Trades, great information. He just kind of reiterates here the fact that, if we look back at 2007, we had a very similar sort of setup going with Fed delivers cut rates. Then we had all-time highs. What happened in 2008? The market, the first they said there's going to be no recession, and then the entire market collapsed. So I don't want to look, and I don't want you all to look at this chart and think everything is going to go up and away, which it still can, but don't put everything without risk management, because we've seen this in the past that you get a fake out, massive, just macro bull trap to only reverse and come down. Now, what does this mean for Bitcoin? Well, if we come over here, we've got some really bullish things scaling up for Bitcoin. This is from Will Clemente. Retail accumulation trends versus Bitcoin supply. Why does this matter? Supply and demand is what drives price. And we can see right here at current rates, after this upcoming halving, this is why halvings are so important. Retail accumulation will completely offset new issuance for the first time since inception. So this means,
okay, let me just break it down, normal terms here. On average, we got like 20 dingleberries coming in. They're just buying some Bitcoin, right? On average, 20 of them come in, they buy some Bitcoin. They can buy enough, but it's not enough that's made every day, every 10 minutes. They don't buy enough every 10 minutes. In April, that 10 minutes amount cut in half. The amount of Bitcoin released every 10 minutes cut in half, 50%. It's slashed, it's reduced. And then those dingleberries are coming in, they buy that same amount. Now, there's not enough for those dingleberries.
Yeah.
Let's get those dingleberries to really, really start. Let's orange pill some dingleberries this Christmas holiday season. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm going to be out at the Christmas shop. I'm just going to be holding a sign at the mall.
Don't be a dingleberry.
Yes.
Or be a dingleberry and buy some Bitcoin. But getting onto this chart right here, this is teeing up the next slide right here, our slide chart. And this is a long-term holder. Basically the supply active 1 or more years ago. When this peaks, it's very important to see when this peaks at this point in the market, and we have this huge explosion after the peak, huge explosion after the peak. We're coming up here. Are we peaked yet? Have we peaked? Well, look at this. I found this from James Van Straten. Excellent breakdown here. These are the rally into peak. So this is a 1-year HODL wave peak that I was just showing you. Up into that, the rally into the peak was 697%, 129%, and a little over 350%. After the peak, this is when that long-term holder starts, we start seeing some activity on those coins held for 1 or more years. And look at this explosive gains come after that peak. So if you feel like you missed the boat, remember, you never missed the boat. It just might be an opportunity brewing that you need to look for. And you see right here, push up. Oh my God, I missed it. Look at that, sell off. Oh my God, I missed it. No, a lot of consolidation and then break up. Now, what does this mean in the immediate future?
Correction tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, maybe. You never know. I shared this on the BitLab newsletter yesterday. We've got these key levels I'm watching. The 44,300, which is basically this sort of range high region. Actually goes a little higher than that, 44.6. But we came down and tested a macro support line here that previously was resistance. We've needed to do that since we pushed up here, and we've come down and done that. But we still have this CME futures gap right below us at 39.5. This is critical because of this beautiful blue line. It might just look like lines and stuff on a chart, but this is proven to be key support all the way through here until this was lost. And this was just a lot of choppiness up through this zone. Now, the reason why this is important is because confluence is everything in technical analysis. And we can see that, this line, this macro trend line is coming right into the area of the CME futures gap. So if we do come down and test this and bounce, phenomenal. If we lose this, I do think that we'll be testing down to, more likely than not, likely down into $35,000, $36,000 range. We can reassess from there. But I just want everybody to know, we got this pump yesterday, the FOMC meeting. It does not mean that we're going up and away yet, because as you can see, we did not even break past the previous range lows. So be cautious here. Wait for a certain level above or below to be broken to confirm the direction we're going to go. So I'm very bullish, but I do think that we may have a little bit of hesitation in the markets because I have one more thing.
I want to see, can we share my screen real quick? I'm wondering, what's your assessment of Cardano? Cardano just absolutely just kind of was melting some faces over the past 48 hours or so. This is my trade right now. Let's see. I'm going to move this around just a bit. So this green line, this is off Blofin. We got the link up in the chat, everybody. This is this green line. That was my entry point. I got in right here. Pretty good point. Well, until, would have been better to catch that wick down there. This is my stop loss. You're freaking me out over here. So I'm going to move my stop loss into profit.
There you go.
I do expect, this is like a 5-minute chart, probably going to get a little bit of a bounce off here. I want to make sure I don't get stopped out and then it bounces off again, and that's when all the gains are going to be made. So guaranteed profit. I'm going to go right below that wick right there, a little bit right around that candle body, and I'll be watching this one. So what is going on with Cardano? If we zoom out a little bit, I don't know if I have it up on TradingView. Yeah, I have it right here. Let's just do the 24-minute chart. Yeah, it has been, it went off and to the right. I expected a strong pullback at the previous level that we saw last Saturday. Last Saturday, it bounced off right around 64.5 cents. I thought for sure it was going to bounce off that 64.5 cents earlier yesterday. It kept going up. Does that mean we're, another leg up, or is this saying, hey, it's kind of knocking on this door, maybe we're going to head down?
Well, I feel like the trend is your friend until the end, okay? And right now the trend is up, but we have been pushing up on a lot of these different altcoins and Bitcoin, and the market has just been feeling very frothy. So I wouldn't necessarily bet against it. However, I am feeling, and I don't want to be a bear, I am feeling like there's a likelihood that we may get a little bit of a move to the downside, especially looking at this chart right here. And I've shared this before. A lot of colors. This is wallet sizes, less than 1 to 10, 10 to 100, all the way up to greater than 10,000. Are they accumulating or distributing? Right here, you see all this blue, everybody was accumulating. Then we get this large pop. Well, what do you see now? The whales are starting to get to the point where they're taking some profits right here. Are they thinking we're a little too frothy? Are the institutions trying to bring it down? So I'm just urging caution here in terms of Cardano. Yes, it is pushed up, but we have lost this trend signal line. If we continue further down, I'd be watching down to basically about the 59 cents level. And if we lose that, we can look lower. But 59 cents level is a weekly VWAP and would be a good test. If we lose that, then I think we're coming down into the low 50s. But things are looking good. I think that trade's good. Leave your stop loss in profit. That's what you do. And are
we going to see 30 cents again? I would say potentially 40 cents. I wouldn't go as low as 30 cents, 42-ish, 44 cents. Does Blofin work in the UK? No VPN or KYC.
No KYC. And by the way, if you want to sign up for that, it's down in the description.
Oh yeah, $15.
Right,
yeah, you get $15. If you deposit 100, you get 15, I think USDT. Yep. Deposit 100 USDT, you're going to get 15 USDT on the house there.
And share if you have a trade that's in profit, and share the little, you can click a little square right below the trade, and you can share the little image of what your P&Ls are on Twitter, on X, and do hashtag Discover Crypto. The person that has the highest P&L throughout the week will get it $500.
Yeah, my trade earlier, it was 2 sandwiches, and now it's 3 sandwiches. Mm-hmm. I might as well just start bragging about it. You know what I mean? All right, well, let's talk about Bitcoin versus ETH here. Bitcoin to explode from fair value to 100K. We're going to talk about some Morgans. All right, all Morgans. This is the Morgan section here. Morgan Creek's Mark Yusko said, so here's the timeline. It's going to rally to 6 figures. Currently, it's below its fair value of 50K. Now we'll go from that to 50K to 100K, and it's probably going to happen really fast. Why? Why is it going to happen really fast? Well, that's what history tells us, that the FOMO kicks in. This time we got massive tailwind. And according to him, investors started accumulating Bitcoin below its fair value towards the end of 22, and they're still at it. Now, when we get to the fair value of 50K, what's going to happen? The halving is going to occur. So that's the second one. This is, I wouldn't say the most technical phrase here. Well, then what happens? Well, we had a 0. Okay, that sounds like a meme coin right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're moving the decimal, baby. So if you go back to the first half, we went from, he does describe it like a meme coin. Well, if you go back to the first half, we went from 10 to 100, and then 100 to 1,000. Then we went to 1,000 to 10. Now we're going to go from a 10 to 100K, even though the 1,000 to 10 was 2 cycles ago. That's a 10x growth of the network again, following Metcalf's law curve. All right, sure. I wouldn't take that one to the bank. But now we have another Morgan. This Morgan's a little bit more serious, a little bit better known. JP Morgan.
Got great hair.
Great. You're talking about Jamie Dimon?
Yeah.
Oh, he's very presidential looking, right? Like he's straight from Central Casting. That is a president.
He's just got that stone jaw.
Sorry, that's a president from a movie 20 years ago. It wouldn't be, but anyways, JP Morgan says Ether will likely outperform Bitcoin next year. Okay. So before we get into the article, what do you guys think about that? What is going to perform better January 1st to December 31st, 2024? Ether, Bitcoin? I think it will be Ethereum.
You know what? They're going to run like this. You know, one will run.
Yeah, I'm expecting a small divergence. Yeah, I don't think one's going to be twice as good. I think one might outperform by 10 to 30%.
Well, it also depends on what happens with the Ethereum ETFs, because I know they have the futures ETF, but you know, stepping into the spot ETFs for Ethereum, we're going to have to see how that trajectory is based on when and how all the different Bitcoin spot ETFs, if and when they get approved, because remember, that's going to be a massive gate of liquidity coming into Bitcoin if those spot ETFs are approved. So on the flip side, retail chasing lower value assets, that, you know, because they don't understand, you don't have to buy a full Bitcoin. You can buy up to 100,000, you know, decimal points of it, divisions of it, I should say. So I don't know. I think retail is going to be pumping Ethereum and institutions are going to be pumping Bitcoin.
Serious question. Any concerns about the ongoing battle regarding Bitcoin ordinals and BRC20? I wouldn't worry about it whatsoever because, you know, if you zoom out, Bitcoin mining is somewhat centralized. But I'm just going to go ahead and say there's a handful of pools that are above 50%. And if it was like very, very damaging, what do you think those fat cat miners are going to do? Are they all, you know, they probably know each other. They probably communicate pretty regularly, you know, Ant Miner and F2 pools leaders. I'd be surprised if they didn't know each other personally. And so if there's some sort of thing, oh my God, Bitcoin's on the verge of breaking, they would just say, yeah, let's just stop supporting it. You cool with that? Yeah, I'm cool with that. Yeah, all right, cool. And then they would just move on. So that's my ERC20 ordinals.
But it also drives innovation in terms of how, you know, maybe adjustments or changes or
Bitcoin maxis hate that though.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, miners are going to love it because it's going to drive their fees.
Yeah, then that's really, but when, you know, we start looking at like high ETH 2021 gas fees just to move Bitcoin, will they continue to like it if no one, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how that game theory plays out.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, right now, Bitcoin, even when, on average, when the fees are high on Bitcoin, I don't mean spikes, but just the average over a 7-day period, it is astronomically lower than the transaction fees. If you're going to send, for instance, say $100 million international remittance between your own company, between different bank accounts, that's going to be huge fees to move that money. With Bitcoin, it's so much smaller. And the argument with that, I saw somebody post it online, and it's a brilliant argument. Aren't you willing to pay a fee, even if it goes up, even 2x or 3x from here, for the most secure network in the history of the world?
That's very Trump-like.
When I'm trying to trade out of this Ordi token that's worth $70, no, I'm not. You know what I mean? So I think that's going to be the situation. Do you recall 2021 where you had in your MetaMask $80 of a token, $120 of a token, and then you're looking at a $70, $60, $50 gas fee, and you're just like, I'm going to ride this to zero.
Yeah.
It happened to me.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, yeah, I should have just took the $70 of ETH, $40 of ETH, the 0.002 or whatever. I didn't do it though. So yeah, $40 was 001 at one point when ETH was 4,000. All right, let's talk about ETH right here. We believe this is from JP Morgan, what they're talking about, ETH versus Bitcoin's price action. We believe that next year Ethereum will reassert itself and recapture market share within the crypto ecosystem. Did you pull up the ETH Bitcoin? ETH Bitcoin on TradingView. JP Morgan analyst led by Nicholas. I am not even going to try to say this last name right here, and it's nothing. You know what? Screw it. That's why you're watching.
Let's give it a go.
Penny Gertzoglu.
That was
Penny Gertzoglu.
So Kelly just sounded like Trump, and then you just sounded like Biden.
Tesla's robot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that?
Okay. I'm sorry. All right. Back to this. All right.
He's like a Roomba.
Back to JP Morgan's analysis on Ethereum here, because we are trying to get rich, everybody.
Yeah.
The main catalyst is the EIP 4844. I don't know about this one though. It's the proto dank sharding upgrade, which is expected to take place during the first half of 2024. We believe that this upgrade will prove a bigger step towards improving Ethereum network activity, thus helping Ethereum to outperform. Take anybody with even like a pretty okay crypto knowledge subset, you know, like maybe you're not Vitalik or, you know, coding Solidity, but you know, Bitcoin, you know, 21 million, you know, gas fees, you know, MetaMask. And you ask that average person, hey, Kelly, how excited are you for proto dank sharding?
Huge.
Exactly. So I don't know how much that's going to move it there. Now, if there's some huge upgrade where, oh my God, the gas fees or, the block time or the security, maybe that would get retail excited. That doesn't get retail excited, everybody, though. I think what will get retail excited is JP Morgan, BlackRock and Co. buying a whole bunch of ETH becoming slightly deflationary. There's less ETH on exchange balances. Price starts going up and everyone starts saying 10K ETH, 20K ETH, and it's at $6,000 and people feel FOMO. That's what's going to move ETH's price, not proto dank sharding EIP 4844. Woo! I'm putting it on a t-shirt. I love it so much. Yeah. That's never going to happen. But I do think ETH will outperform Bitcoin. But, if you're a JP Morgan analyst, you can't just say things like retail is going to love it. So they have to say things like, yeah, the EIP 4844 proto dank sharding upgrades really going to get people excited as the upgrades happen. And then you have the JP Morgan executive, he's reading it, his eyes start crossing. He's just like, fucking proto dank sharding. Yeah, sure. All right, yeah, we like ETH. Thanks for your analysis. Get out of the room. All right, guys, we buying ETH or Bitcoin? Let's buy both. Okay, that's how that's going to play out. That's exactly how that's going to play out.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about, marketing any product. And remember, these are financial products, whether they're decentralized or this, it doesn't matter. People are using it. It's a product. And it's going to come down to ease of use and what's the consistency, the trustworthiness of being able to use it on a consistent basis. So
what's that ETH Bitcoin trading pair looking like on the long term? So
I got it right here on the weekly, and I got that line that you actually identified all the way back here in I can't even
16. It's 2016.
Yeah, 2016. Then we had this, rejection here, support here. And we actually did lose this level. So we do want to watch for when price comes up to this. We may be forming a W, basically double bottom here.
Wow. I didn't know it broke through.
Yeah, broke through. And not only that, it broke through right at the point in which we have this other level of support that's come down through here. So I do think we may have a little bit of time for Ethereum to cool its jets, which means it's providing an opportunity for accumulation if you are somebody that has a longer term view. That means if you're trading this pair, I mean, I think it's still worth holding both Bitcoin and Ethereum in your wallet, regardless of what's going on. But if you're physically actively trading in the charts, this is looking like it may have a little bit more consolidation before.
What is the number we're at right now? 0.4?
We're at 0.53.
0.53. So at 0.5, that means 20 ETH will equal the price of one Bitcoin. So right now we're like, 21 ETH or so, 22 ETH. Mr. Snickers, you absolutely need to make a shirt and wear it on the show. I am not going to put that on a t-shirt. Proto dank sharding. People are going to think I crap my pants if I wear that on a t-shirt. Like he smokes weed and craps his pants. Wait, is that like the weed is marketed as? It reminds me, was that Cat Williams thing, death? Like,
dank
go death? I don't know if I want that.
Dangerous.
I can't hear
you hit it, you'll literally crap your pants. It's so strong. Oh, sign me up. Someone would probably say. All right, Ethereum rising user base boosts revenue projections predicted to double to $5 billion. Let's see here. Bitwise's first prediction suggests that Bitcoin will surpass previous records and trade above 80K, setting a new all-time high. And this is for 2024. I'm kind of coming in, I think 70-ish, 60-ish might be the top for 2024. Do you think we can hit 80K Bitcoin in 2024?
Well, in 2024, if we get to, I have a hard time really characterizing if we're going to have a huge sell-off at 70, or if there's going to be a strong enough trend that once we break that, we just have a sort of rocket ship up to 80, 85.
I think talk about dank sharding really got you messed up.
Yeah.
You just can't stop thinking about the proto dank sharding EIP 4844.
Yeah.
I go to sleep and I wake up in the middle of the night and screaming,
I shart my pants.
4844. I'm screaming like some Vietnam vet.
But no, I think we'll definitely test the all-time highs in 2024. It's going to be interesting to see if we're having the ETFs and all that. I think we're gonna have a small pit stop there and then move past it. But 70 to 85 is kind of my target for 2024.
I knew it sounded familiar. Yeah, Grandma's Boy. Yeah, they had that in Grandma's Boy, I think. That's right. I remember I watched that movie like 20 times in 6 months. I probably haven't watched it in 16 years.
It's so good.
I loved it back in the day. It was back in the old DVD days, before there was 47 apps to choose what you're going to watch. All right, let's talk about the bank invasion, everybody. IMF chief warns of the dangers of unregulated cryptos. He stresses the need for crypto regulation in Korea to ensure global financial stability and innovation. This is the head of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, talked at length about the need for crypto regulations at a digital currency conference in Seoul, South Korea. She knew Ghislaine Maxwell, right? Anyways, she just that name, it just throws me off. She's saying unregulated crypto could unsettle global financial stability. Or I would say unregulated cryptocurrencies could unsettle the global plan to make it where you can't afford anything. Yeah, they don't want you to be able to own a house. They don't want you to be able to, put a middle finger to an employer. What is the best vehicle that I know to get out of that thumb, to get out from the thumb of the elites? It is cryptocurrency. Not everyone's going to be able to, build an apartment complex and use real estate to, get your way out of the debt bubble. Or, not everyone has, when I graduate college, I make $250K and I have no student debt. That is not a likely scenario. For me, it's diving into Web3, diving into this technological forefront. And then hopefully, we could turn that into house down payments.
I mean, I'm doing
cars, college tuitions.
The BitLab stream I'm doing directly after is going to be specifically focused on that exact topic. Why Bitcoin is not only the answer, at least has to be a portion of your life if you want to step into the future and not get left behind. Because this is the last best opportunity every one of us that's watching this and all your friends and family have to not get absolutely stepped on by the global elites, by the banks, and just be left going, thank you, sir. May I have another?
Chat really did that proto-dank sharding really got you guys fired up. 40 years ago, I would say pretty close. Maybe 30, 1993, 57 channels and nothing on. Now 57 streaming platforms and nothing on. I would say that's pretty accurate. All right, well, we're talking about the crypto invasion by the banks. Well, central banks are plotting a crypto invasion, everybody, under the guise of several factors, including CBDCs here. From January 1st, 2025, they're set to hold up to 2% of their reserves in cryptocurrencies. I would say that's pretty big as per a directive from the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements. This isn't just a flirtation with digital currencies. It's more like a full-blown courtship, signaling a significant shift in the traditionally cautious approach of central banks. Do you want to get into crypto after the central banks get in, or do you want to get into crypto before the central banks get in? I think it's a pretty clear answer. If you want to make this a reality, let's hit that like button. Let's spread this video across, and let's get everybody educated about Bitcoin, about cryptocurrencies, and have that next person watch this video for the first time. Hey, man, maybe you have to sell them your bag in a month or a year and a half. We want everybody to make profits, though. This plan divides crypto assets into two distinct categories. Group one, safe zone, tokenized traditional assets and stables. All right. And then we got group two, the high risk zone. That's where I'm going to be hanging out. Banks dabbling in this group will face a conservative capital treatment akin to a financial version of walking a tightrope without a safety net. So, yeah, they're going to want them to go into what BlackRock is choosing, what Gary Gensler likes, and not the super awesome dank shard L2 that's going to launch in a month from now, or Bonk, or your favorite Cardano gaming token. Let's throw out a DeFi. Now, let's throw out a DGen pick.
Oh, DGen pick.
What's something that is definitely going to be in group two that the banks don't want the viewers to buy?
I mean, I would say any of the lending protocols, and even something like Anchor, which is actually pretty high on a market cap. I think those things are going to get really, there's going to be a lot of pressure on them unless they get sort of acquired in some meaningful way by these different banks, meaning that they buy huge shares to help control the voting on them. But yeah, it's hard to say. This is why diversification in this ecosystem is so important. Bitcoin is going to be the safest among the crypto assets as it stands right now, and that could change, but I think it's least likely. But you need to make sure that you have a broad range of exposure through the different niches in this space. Gaming, I think, maybe.
Yeah. I would, watch last night's video. I threw out one, Benki QI. You can buy it on Coinbase. It's up 15%. I don't know from 24 hours ago. I don't know from the video.
They're definitely not buying Cock Inu.
No, probably not. Probably not. Shout out to George. We're all George here. All right. Argentina's new president. Now, this is Drew's favorite person, everybody.
This guy looks like my 2-year-old daughter, just so you know. He really does.
Yeah.
He really does.
Yeah.
He looks
a little
like
bit.
Remy.
Similar hair. Similar hair. Your daughter's got a little bit curlier hair there.
Yeah.
Well, the new president tackles monetary policy with a 50% currency devaluation. The plan has met with IMF approval, but there is going to be some short-term pain, everybody. I would say, when you're walking into the arena that he's walking in, of course, there's going to be some short-term pain to fix that broken system. The peso's value will plunge from 400 to over 800 against the US dollar. So this is part of their austerity actions right now. So it's going to be tough. There's going to be some speed bumps, but
Listen,
I think they're going to be feeling a lot better 3 years from now.
every change comes with incurred risk. Okay. And just like, if anybody out there, if you've ever felt the need that like you hate your job, or it's just, you have something else that you want to do, that no matter how much time you put in, sometimes it's hard to let go of that time you put in, and you're at this comfortable level. And if you go over to this, if you basically move laterally, if you go into a different field, even, you're going to take a step down, but then you get paid so much more in your own personal freedom. In this case, this country is tired of having the central bank's thumb on every single thing they do. So is there going to be some short-term pain? But yes, they're looking long-term, which is what countries need to do, which is what the U.S. government needs to do, and stop looking at what do I need to do to get reelected in 2 to 3 years.
Well, speaking of who doesn't need help getting reelected, I think the most popular president in the world right now, correct me if I'm wrong, Drew, who is it?
Right now it's Trump.
No. Most popular. He's beyond his poll numbers.
Oh, let me think.
Current.
Are they forced poll numbers?
I don't know. You're
Some would say
me.
yeah.
Just
Some
let me
would
know.
say it's not an accurate reading there. I would say it's probably more accurate than most people would suspect.
Is it
Chat,
Bukele?
do you want to guess what
It's
president?
Bukele.
I mean, you can probably Google it. What president has the highest?
Is it a president or a prime minister or?
President. Vladimir.
No
Vladimir.
way.
Vladimir, I believe, is in the 80s right now, 90s. Maybe check it out. What is his current approval rating right now? A lot of people are going to say clearly gamed, or you live in that country and say it's a disapproval there. Ricky Bobby, no, Obama. Well, yeah, I think Kim Jong-un might have a higher
he's
rating.
winning.
Right
Clearly.
here in October 2023, 8 out of 10% of Russians approved of the activities of the Russian president.
So 80%, 80%. That's very, very high. That's very, very, very high. So traditionally, you don't really see above 60%, kind of ever, unless it's a wartime. So yeah, that's going to be just the wartime right there. So fixed.
I don't know if
I would say to a degree. Throw out what's the error rate right there? Is it 5% off? Is it 10% off? Is it 30% off? Some would say 79% off. All right. Well, Russia poised to let miners sell coins abroad as exports, everybody. So Russia, watch out for the Russian miners dumping on you. They kind of got like stuck in some legal limbo where, they're trying to pass some legislation, but, it's like two different entities fighting over it, kind of like a CFTC SEC situation over there. It was like their central bank and the people that control their finance markets. Well, speaking of finance markets, there's not really many larger finance markets than Saudi Arabia. That's about as high as it goes. Saudi Aramco is a top 3 corporation in the world. It's like right there with Apple. Saudi Microsoft partners with SBI Holdings to potentially invest in digital assets. Saudi prints money buying meme coins. That's all I'm going to say. So, I mean, I would say, does it get more bullish than oil money flowing into crypto? Does it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mr. Techno Goody said about Putin's ratings, he said, that's proto Dankshard high.
Yeah.
That's going to be our new adverb.
Let's see.
Adjective.
Anyone remember Pinky in the Brain?
Oh, yeah.
Harari is Pinky. Unfortunately, Klaus is Brain. Yeah, Klaus had that very evil speech that he gave like just a week ago or something like that.
Yeah.
I try to give Harari a little bit of a pass because Sapiens was so good. And I think part of it, he's just making proclamations. What is he doing to put chips in people? I don't know of anything. What is he doing? He's writing essays about how it's going to happen. But, I think there's people who are like, actually pushing for these things with like, developing technologies and, getting governments under board of like, hey, we'll give you $1 billion if you let us experiments on your citizens. There's people doing real stuff. He's just kind of writing about it and pointing it out, but people love to hate Harari for I'll have to maybe he's darker, more evil than I suspected.
Yeah, I understand why you're kind of on the fence about him being bad. He's been laying the mental framework to the leads of the world at Davos about doing this long before the last few years.
Well, I would say he's, given how impactful Sapiens was to like anthropology, I would say, he's a very high level thinker.
Yes.
And
no
who would you want speaking at Davos? High level thinkers.
He's been there. One thing that he did speak about was the dangers about connecting biometric data to AI systems, what AI may do with that, viewing humans as a useless plague upon the earth. That is the concern in the end road, which we seem to be walking.
He also he did a lot of research on how many animals human beings made extinct, all the mega fauna. But all right, let's talk about MetaMask here now. Data harvesting found in MetaMask Avalanche web extensions. What the heck's going on here? They uses a single pixel iFrame to embed trackers into his browser extension. This extension contains a data harvesting analytics iFrame within its code. This is an old trick by web marketers. They secretly serve ad code instead of a iFrame displayed as one invisible small pixel. Then you end up getting untold profits through invisible ad impressions. Due to years of this abuse, many web browsers and platforms ban iframes altogether. However, MetaMask still uses an invisible iframe, perhaps hoping that no one would have thought to look through its outdated bits of CSS code. The frame within the extension circumvents traditional web safety services because the user voluntarily installs the extension and proves its permissions. This seems more like a case of laziness not being evil. It's not great. Obviously, it's bad. But it looks like they just use, they use some old GitHub suppository. They copy pasted and
like
thought it was going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. They templated old code. That's a good way of putting it instead of, getting it from first principles, starting from the bottom up here. Let's see. South Park writing essays was great. All this happened. Gen X and older millennials are the loss of how the world should be. I agree with that, but then I think back, hasn't every generation said that? Then I'm like, oh, dang it, maybe I should stop thinking that.
It's just, even with the current generation, I think in reality, there's probably some elements that we do need to carry forward. Not all. Like, I think we all need to be a little bit more polite. I think we should have a little bit more humility. I think we could be a little bit more onerous to our ability to save, rather than living on credit and debt. But same time, if you look back in time, the people that did that also had a very different, what we think now is very non-politically correct view on a lot of different things. So,
yeah, Vivek he dropped an idea at me, and good ideas are like viruses; they spread. He said something, well, how would you hold yourself, as a president? He said, "This is my metric. I think it's a great litmus test. Would you be proud to tell a kid that's how you should act?" So I'm starting to use that framework in the back of my mind. Like, would I be proud? I don't have any kids, but would I be proud to say, that's a good way to act?
Would your grandmother be proud if she saw what you were doing at this moment?
We're talking about previous generations, grandmothers and stuff. I feel like every generation before it was tougher. I think we need to get tougher again. I don't think we need to be full-blown, shell-shocked World War I veteran that beats his whole family and sits on his porch with a beer. We don't got to go that far. That's a little too tough. That's a little too hard. I think we're a little not tough enough, though. All right. Well, I'll tell you what's not tough. WorldCoin trying to take over the globe, everybody, with their orbs. WorldCoin pushes for mainstream adoption with the integration with Shopify, Minecraft, and Reddit. I'm not going to scan my eye, though, so just be careful out there. Are you going to scan your eye?
No, I'll say no now, but I also just realized I just did TSA pre-check, which, I have that and clear, and I do all these other things that I say I won't do. So we'll have to see. It's what's more shocking to me isn't even the WorldCoin focus here. It's the integration of crypto and blockchain into things like Shopify, Minecraft, and Reddit, furthering that. And some of these already had these integrations, but the more this broadens out, the more pressure it puts on and awareness it puts on the broader market and different companies that are not yet stepping up to the plate of the future. So I like this kind of story.
I like it too. Now, this is a story me and Johnny were loving. Granny airdrops. Grannies are coming for your airdrops. What? Chinese grandmothers are coming for your airdrops. They just look so nice right there. Why are you taking my airdrop, grandmother? Well, the long day dominated by tech-savvy youth, witnessing a surprising twist. The rise of Chinese grannies in the airdrop arena. Who has more time than the retired class? I like this. I love this story.
I think it's great.
Armed with smartphones and insatiable curiosity, these grannies are diving headfirst, not literally, figuratively, into the world of cryptocurrencies, particularly airdrops. How are they doing it? Well, they got stirring a wider social impact. Many of them pulling resources and knowledge, forming informal groups to share tips. There's a video that was shared recently too, and it looked like the VeChain video me and Drew had talked about in a few weeks past. I don't know if I can find it, but yeah, maybe someone could link it. I see that happening. China historically tells their people to buy at the right time and tells their people to sell at the right time.
Yeah.
The way they do that, they kind of like ease restrictions, then they close restrictions, and they tend to ease restrictions right at the bottom of a 4-year cycle, and then right at the top, they're like, get out, get out, get out. We got to dump on the Westerners.
For anybody that doesn't know what he's talking about, if you come to my chart right here, looking at this giant dump that we had right here, this was the Chinese mining ban right here that set the market down. And because this was in the middle of absolute bullish exuberance and very somewhat early in regards to where the bull market top was projected to be, this is why the market sold off and people stopped being willing to sell. And so there was no real new participants coming in here. It was just the lack of willingness to sell because the market was cut short because China banned mining and really, but you know what? Then they opened it up back down over here. Really smart.
Let's see. I don't know if this is the tweet here. Yeah, this is it. One of my Chinese best friends sent me this video. 70-plus-year-old grandmothers in China learning how to buy BRC20s. So is this peak bull market? I would say yes if it was a nursing home in Seattle. China, though, man, they just tend to catch bottom. So this traditionally does look like a top signal. I would not say this is a top signal. It might be a short-term top signal, though. All right, Cardano, shot up. Why the TVL and DeFi is jumping up a whole bunch, but part of that's going to be from Cardano increasing in price. So you got to look at the ADA in circulation, not the fiat value in circulation. So that's kind of important metric right there. Cardano, this is key right here. TVL. Oh wait, hold on. Let me zoom in a little bit. TVL up 15%. Cardano's price 13.85%. So yeah, woo! We're up 1.15%. So yeah, TVL is up a little bit. There's 100 million tokens in there yesterday. Today there's 101 million tokens. But the price surge is the primary driver right there. All right, let's talk about Solana growth. Bonk. I did not know this. Bonk flipped Pepe as the Coinbase shakeup. It kind of dumped on the news, then ended up pumping there. What is going on with Bonk though, everybody? Let's just type in. Let's look at the all-time. I haven't sold any Bonk in about a week or so. Oh my God, it is up 45% today. I'm selling today. I am selling another 10%. Get out of here. Selling another 10% today. If you look at the max chart.
Well, it does say here, Coinbase tweeted that Bonk would be listed on Thursday today, potentially as early as 12 p.m. Eastern time. So shortly after the stream is over. So watch for a potential rumor. Buy the rumor, sell the news.
I'm selling
event.
10%. I am selling 10% of my Bonk holdings today. I'm probably have sold way too much, but hey, man, with meme coins, I take profits a little bit more aggressively with meme coins than I do other tokens.
Because they'll pump fast, and you will be rich on paper. But then all of a sudden, that you'll go to the bathroom and come back, and it will be down 60%. You'll be like, "What happened?" Well, you didn't have a strategy. That's what happened.
I wonder if I should buy Pepe with the Bonk. Because I do think Pepe is probably going to be one of the better performing large meme coins. And there's some meme coin that hasn't been invented yet. It's going to go up 10,000%. Of the large ones, though, I think it could be Pepe. Solana closes the gap on Ethereum with over $16 million in NFT sales. I know a lot of people think we were just crapping all over Solana. We crapped over the blockchain shutting down, but I've been minting NFTs on Solana for over 2 years now. Been a holder. Didn't sell. In fact, I still held on to FTT token. Okay. So that whole ecosystem, I'm not as bearish as people think. But when your chain would shut down 14 times in a year, you're going to get roasted. Okay. Sometimes I roast coins a little bit harder than people would expect for a holder. But I'm just trying to keep them accountable, everybody. But yeah, it looks like the NFT sales are jumping. So they were number one with 16. Bitcoin even passed ETH. Bitcoin was at 13 million and ETH was at 11.4 million right there. So history's been made. Solana flips Ethereum for NFT sales. Maybe Cardano will flip Ethereum.
And you know
for
what?
NFT
This
sales.
goes back to this idea of these different the capital rotation in the market. When you see this doesn't mean it's going to be like this for infinity. This is just the way it is now. We're going to see Ethereum also when a new niche sort of gains popularity on Ethereum ERC20, and we might see that flip back. And then we'll see Ethereum Cardano come in and do the same thing. So you want to just not jump between projects just because you see a metric on a news article like this, but it does show great growth for Solana. And there's, I mean, I don't even see the glass ceiling for these in the next year and a half. I'm so excited to see where this market's going.
Let's check my Blofin. Okay, looks like I think did it close out in profit? Oh, do I got to log in again? Okay. I think it maybe yeah. I think it closed. In profit. Yeah, I was in the profit. That's weird. I did it. Oh my god, I moved my stop loss. I didn't move my profit. I made 4 sandwiches, I think. So I made 4 sandwiches, everybody. I would still be in it. But watch, if it drops down, I'm a reopen. Someone had a pretty good question. We're going to wrap it up with maybe 1 or 2 more Q&As here. Solana target for the bull run here. Let's just share my chart. This is Solana on the 3-day. Yeah, this is Solana on the 3-day. Previously topped out a little bit above $250. This is $262 right here. Right now, we're at $73. I think we will pass all-time highs. I don't think we can really do more than a 2x. I think a 2x will be tough.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think we get $1,000 Solana.
You got to remember, when there's new coins that are being released on the market, you might want to look and hope that the price has the same exponential gain that the previous cycle did. But when you have a huge amount of new supply and also unlocked tokens from different the early investors, VC, etc., that takes a hell of a lot more monetary energy to get those exponential gains. So even getting to the previous all-time high is going to be amazing.
But on that note, most of FTX's holdings they can't fully vest until 2027, 2028. So they have tokens that they're not selling for years. So when you see FTX bankruptcy proceeding and there's, hundreds of millions of Solana waiting to be dumped. Yeah, in 2027. Yeah, 2028. There is an unlock, I think, in 2025, a small one in 2024, but the majority 2027, 2028. So don't worry too much about sell pressure for Solana there, everybody. They had a pretty good cliff system. SLP 20 tokens, souls. All right, yeah, Solana altcoin sector I heard is really, really hot right now. But folks, we got to get ready for a BitLab stream pretty soon. I'm working on the A cut for a video that I'm editing right now. The SEC is going to pump these 4 altcoins. Should I share one with them? I'll share the one that I shared previously, Cody, COTI. Where's Cody at today? Hopefully he doesn't jump 30% in 2 days and then the video goes out. Okay, so Cody's up 8%. I told you guys to buy this below a nickel. If we go to the 7-day here, I don't remember exactly where it was. I think that was 9 days ago that video came out. So maybe it was right above a nickel there. So keep an eye out on the channel. Turn on notifications. Something for BitLab. What do you got, Kelly?
I got one thing I want to say here. Pull up this tweet that I did. It's a special birthday shout out.
Oh, I saw that.
My grandfather is turning 101 this weekend, and just special shout out to him. I put in here, turning 101 years old this weekend. Lived through 3 or maybe 4 plane crashes, several wars, then the incredible fires in Maui. He's out in Maui. You know how Maui just burned down. Lived through that. What a life you've lived. He never bought a car or a house on debt. Always paid cash because he saved it. The time is different now for us to step into the future like he did. Now you got to be involved with Bitcoin. But I just want to say shout out to my grandfather there.
And let's get tough and let's start beating kids like 101 grandfathers used to do 58 years ago. Now he's a good guy, I'm sure.
But just remember why you're in crypto. It's not just charts and money. It's so that we can participate in our family and the world around us in a more meaningful way. So reach out to your loved ones, plant the seed of Bitcoin. We love you all. Head over to BitLab Academy. I'll be going live here right as I walk downstairs. So I'll see you over there.
All right. We'll see you folks tomorrow.